Hello and welcome to NPS Now, your source for news and information about Norfolk Public Schools. I'm your host, Karen Tanner, and with us today is Tatanisha Walton. She is the Early Learning Coordinator in Title I for Norfolk Public Schools. And I'm happy to have you here today because we're going to be talking about our annual Giving Tree. So welcome to NPS Now.
Thank you for having me.
So tell us a little bit about this gift giving tree that we have in the lobby every year.
Yes. The Gift Giving Tree is an annual event that was established by the department, and the focus of the event is to collect gifts and to donate them to children or families that are currently in need or that are in transition.
That are in transition?
Yes.
And those families in transition are normally our McKinney-Vento students?
Yes, ma'am, that's correct. There are NPS students that fall under McKinney-Vento from preschool up until grade 12.
So how do you choose the names on the tree and what age ranges?
The students, again, are NPS students that are currently receiving McKinney-Vento services, and they've been identified at the beginning of the school year or whenever they've enrolled as being eligible to receive services. So those students in the various schools are the ones that will have their names listed on the tags for the tree.
So what type of things are they asking for on those tags you commonly see throughout the years?
Yes, some of the most common items are toys as well as clothing. Other items could be sports or theme related, depending upon what the child's interests are, their favorite hobbies.
What are some of the age ranges of the students on those tags?
The age ranges could be from 4 years old. The oldest might be an 18-year-old.
Wow, that's well, good for every child.
Yes, ma'am.
Taking care of every child. So how can they come by our building? Is it almost like the angel trees in the different malls and stores?
Yes, ma'am, that's correct. Very similar. The tree is in the lobby. There will be tags set up on the tree. NPS employees as well as NPS community partners are welcome to take a tag, and then after they've taken a tag, turn to the back and you'll see the child's information and interest, and then you'll take that tag and purchase those items and then bring the items back and affix the tag to the item and return it to the lobby.
So when will families be able to get a tag off the tree?
Families will be able to take a tag off the tree beginning November 17th on Friday, and we're asking that gifts be brought to the lobby no later than Monday, December 11th.
So this is really open to anyone in the public who wants to come by our building and participate in our gift giving tree. So businesses and organizations that want to, they can do just that.
Yes, ma'am, especially again NPS community agencies or NPS community partners who are already working with our students to help support them, and especially to celebrate the holiday season.
So when are they due back, and do they need to be wrapped, or will we take care of the wrapping for them?
Yes, we are asking that the gifts come to us wrapped, and the gifts are due no later than Monday, December 11th.
Monday, December 11th. And
Yes,
how
ma'am.
are you going to distribute those gifts to the families?
After we've collected the gifts on Monday, December the 11th, we will then sort and categorize the gifts according to the various schools throughout the division. Families will then be invited to come to downtown on the 7th floor, beginning that Friday, December 15th, schools A through L, and then that Monday, December 18th, the remaining schools M through W.
So you pretty much contact those families and let them know their time schedule and when to come.
Yes, and then we've also sent out communication to the schools so that they know those dates and times as well.
What are some of the type of gifts you think those kids are asking for? Like I know now, I have an elementary school student, they are crazy about making slime. So what are some of the things that you think the kids are asking for this year?
Well, a lot of children enjoy technology and electronics and video games, so those are always a favorite. Fidget spinners, also they've been really, really popular, things to manipulate. Any type of game or gadget I think many children are interested in, and they keep them engaged and they're fun to play with.
And I know I've taken a tag before, so there's been some clothing items that they've asked for.
Yes, ma'am, that's correct. We also collect the sizes of the students, so sponsors are also free to purchase clothing that would also be something for the student to have for the holiday as well.
Right. So why do you think it's important for us to have this annual gift giving tree in the lobby every year for these students?
Well, I think it's important because number one, it's the holiday season, and the focus is on helping others in their time of need, and especially our youngest ones, our children. We want them to enjoy the holidays and to feel special, and it's a time to give back and to celebrate and to help others.
Exactly. So kind of recap for us when the tree will be available, when the tags will be available, and when things are due. And then also, if people want to participate in this program, how can they contact you?
Certainly. Again, the tags will begin going up on the 17th. We're asking that gifts be returned by Monday, December 11th. That Friday the 15th and Monday the 18th of December, gifts will be available for parents to come pick up in the Central Admin Building on the 7th floor. And then as far as contact, my email address, twalton, and also our department number is 628-3944. And
Wonderful.
you just press the extension for McKinney-Vento.
Well, we will definitely help you
Okay.
get the word out. We'll put it
Thank
on
you.
our social media and website, and hopefully parents will watch the show and want to come and help us as well.
Yes, that would be wonderful.
So thank you for coming on the show today.
Thank you. Looking forward to making it a great success.
Yes. And we want you to stay tuned for more NPS Now.
Welcome back to NPS Now. I'm Steve Setmiller, Senior Coordinator of Athletics. Today in the studio, we're going to talk a little bit about football. And we have the head coach from Granby High School, Sekou Wilson. Welcome.
Thank you.
And he's brought a player, a stud of a player, all-purpose player, Chevalier Williams. Welcome.
How you doing?
All right. Guys, we just finished the playoffs. And a great thing for Norfolk Public Schools was we got all 5 teams into the playoff. But a negative thing is we didn't get past that first round. So we got a lot of work to do for next year, but a great accomplishment for all 5 teams to get into that playoff to advance. So, Coach, you had a heck of a season, and that's why we have you down here. So we want to talk a little bit about the success of Granby football. So go ahead and brag about Granby a little bit.
I mean, just a good group of hardworking kids we had, and we have, I shouldn't say we had, a good group of hardworking kids we have, and they just continue to improve and do the things that got them to this point, and it will continue, you know, in the future. I had a very special senior class. You know, those guys came a long way. They stuck with each other, played together, you know, became a family. You know, a bunch of guys from different places, you know, different type of things going on in their lives. But, you know, when they came on to the practice field and got on the field, they all played together, sacrificed for each other, believed in each other. So it was a good season.
Okay. All right, talk about Chevalier. Granby hasn't made the playoffs since 2012, so how did that feel as being part of that? And then talk about some of the success from the players' perspective.
When we first started, we were in JV. Most of the team that you see on varsity, from all the line and the running backs and the wide receivers, we were on JV. We didn't win any games. We only put up like 3 touchdowns. So from that point on, we stuck together. We stayed in the weight room consistently, and we just worked out after practice on the weekends, and we just created this bond. So seeing it all come together this year and us work as a collective group, it was amazing, and seeing what we can do when we actually put all the hard work and effort.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so Coach, you said they put a lot of work in. So as a coach and a coaching staff, how did that feel with this group getting into that playoff picture where you haven't been since 2012?
I mean, it felt good as a coach, but you know, you want to continue to have that success. Like, one of the negative things about making the playoffs is only one team gets to end their season without a loss. But to see, you know, the work they put in, to see them get rewarded for their hard work. One of the things that, you know, we always try to say, and I always say to them, is that you know, you can't hide hard work. And they put the work in, and to, you know, for them to make the playoffs and have that opportunity to compete, and the way they competed while they were there, you know, just shows that, you know, they have put the time in and the effort in to improve themselves and this program, and you know, it's just a good thing for them. I'm more excited and happy for them than I am, myself as a coach. I like, my joy came in seeing them get rewarded for their hard work.
So as a coach and your coaching staff, when did you see this group say, hey, we can get to this playoff picture?
I mean, you saw it in the weight room and the commitment they made to the weight room, and the way they built their bodies, for football, and the way they competed with each other and the way they competed with other schools. It was just a matter of getting over the hump and making some plays, and just guys just believing in each other. The game is sort of like life. It's full of adversities, and it's how you handle those adversities that determine your success, and they did a good job of that this year, just sticking together when things weren't going our way and just keep pushing each other. So was there a time when I can say I pinpointed it? I can't really say that, because I try not to, project the future. I just kind of try to stay in the moment, and in those moments they were working hard and pushing each other and competing against each other.
Okay, Shivai, you had a heck of a senior year. So at what point did you say, hey, we can do something here as a group?
It was the first game, because we faced Warwick last year and it didn't go as well as we planned. And then from the first game, we all were together, and I could see us actually working and playing as a group, as a team that we always wanted to compete as. And people were just trusting each other to make each other plays. We weren't trying to do everything for our stats. We weren't trying to do it for individual. We were trying to do it for the team. And when I seen that, I seen the trust and the bond that we had. I knew that, we can actually compete against high-level teams.
Okay, and you guys definitely competed. Coach, you mentioned the word adversity. You guys had some adversity in your quarterback situation going into that last game against Maury, and then obviously into the playoffs. So talk about some adversity there, and then talk about how this guy kind of stepped up to relieve some of that adversity, losing your quarterback.
Well, it definitely changed some of the things that we were able to do, as far as with our game plan. It took some of our big play things away from us, but and he stepped up and played quarterback, and he ran our offense, admirably, and we were still able to compete, make some plays, try to stay in games, but as a coach, you just got to find ways to overcome that. You can't let that hold you back. But it definitely made some things different for us, and he did an excellent job, leading the team. He just kind of got thrown in there. He was always like our backup plan, but that's kind of like to get you out the game. It wasn't to be a permanent move. So he did a good job. The team did a good job rallying around each other. Our line did a good job because it put a lot of pressure on them, because we pretty much became a run-oriented team at that point. And the end result wasn't what we wanted, but they definitely overcame, that moment, that situation of adversity.
So how did you feel, wearing you had to wear a couple different hats, you became that Wildcat quarterback. So what was that like?
I think it was definitely my team, because when I went back there, it was hard for me to, because I've been playing outside wide receiver so long. When I went to quarterback, it was a whole nother vision, and the guys were telling me, where to go, what I should look for, what hole should I hit, and with their help, it just helped open up some plays. And then one of our linemen, they'll tell me, okay, come off of my butt, or make this play right here, and they'll trust me to make it. And when I trust them and they trust in me, everything started to come together.
Okay. All right, Coach, again, we talked about, a special season. You had some highlights in the season, but there was one moment in the season that you ended the win streak. You ended that Lake Taylor Eastern District win streak. So from the coaching perspective, talk about how that felt.
It felt good for them, because those are one of the hurdles that you have to overcome. They're Coach Sawyer runs a good program. They have good athletes over there, and they always play hard. They always play aggressive, and for our guys to cross that hurdle, playing against them, because we haven't really had much success against them in the past. And so for them guys to rally around each other, and then they fought back and got back in the game like they always do, and for the guys to get over that hurdle, I think it kind of gave them an opportunity or gave them a chance to see, hey, we can compete against everybody if we play together. You know, it's just a matter of us like rallying around each other and doing what we're supposed to do. So for me personally, you know, you kind of, if you want to be successful, there are certain teams that, you know, you have to make sure you can be successful against, and, you know, you can definitely, because of their success in our district and more so in our city, you can use them as a barometer. But, you know, we still have a long way to go, and I think I said that night, like, it can't be a culmination of our growth. It's, you know, we still got to continue to improve and work hard on the things that we do.
So from the players, all the players' perspective, you guys ended that win streak. That's a big deal. So, so players feel a little different than coaches. So how'd y'all feel?
Coming in there, it was like, yo, if you want to be the best, you have to beat the best. And we always knew that Lake Taylor had some players and that they were a good team. We knew how they played. We knew what they were going to do. Everybody kind of knew what they were going to do. And to go in there and fight against them, it was a dogfight. We knew the entire game that if we slipped up one time, they were going to make a play. So on us staying on our edge and, you know, working hard the entire game, some guys being the sacrifice guys, some guys not being able to touch the ball, some guys touching the ball a lot. It was a lot of trust and a lot of work that went into that game, and coming out as the victor of that game and not letting it slip away meant a lot to the guys, you know.
Well, I thought, you know, of all the games over the season, that was one that we can mark down that not only you ended the win streak, but it was an exciting game and a well-played game by both teams. So congratulations on that. All right, so let's talk a little bit about your future. You know, what is next?
Well, I'm just going to try to make the best of my situation. You know, whatever opportunities comes in my way, I'm just going to decipher it and see what I want to do that's best for me and my family and my ahead of my life. I just want to see what can be best for me.
Okay. Coach, final question. You know, how do you build on the success from this year moving forward?
As a program, we just got to make sure that the guys continue to do the things they've been doing, and you know, how can I say it? I mean, these guys have created a foundation. They've kind of, you know, changed the way things are done a little bit, the way we compete, the way we work in the off season. And what the younger guys have to do is they just have to continue that on. After our playoff game, you know, one of the things I said to the team is that, you know, you look at these guys and you see how big some of them are, how strong some of them are. And I say, look, when they were freshmen and sophomores like you know, they didn't look like that. You know, they put the work in the weight room, and that's why they look like that. So as long as the guys continue to put the hard work in, and we should continue to grow. Like one of our models that I tell them all the time is, you know, hard work speaks for itself. So just spend your time working hard and improving your craft and perfecting your craft, and then you know, it's not much to be said. Like the work will speak for itself. Okay.
Well, we wish you good luck for next year and moving on. And then obviously, you know, wherever you end up, we're going to be watching because you're an exciting player to watch. More NPS Now after this.
Welcome back to NPS Now. With us today is Tommy Smeagol, the principal of the Academy for Discovery at Lakewood, and Judy Gulledge. She is the IB coordinator there at the Academy for Discovery at Lakewood. Both of you were going to be discussing the newly approved IB Years program that you have. So welcome to NPS Now.
Thanks for having us. Thanks.
Great, great. And let's talk about that. What is the International Baccalaureate Middle School Years program?
Sure. So the IB-MYP, which is the abbreviation for International Baccalaureate Middle Years Program, it is an international program, and it's kind of interesting. I want to start off actually with kind of dispelling a myth, because when people hear the international part of it, they instantly think that it's all about world languages and cultures. Yeah. And actually the best way to describe it is taking all of the best practices in education around the world and putting them into a curriculum framework and saying, if you do these things, if you have your students go through these processes, you're preparing students for education in high school and in college and in their life and in their jobs. And so it is a unique program, but what's great about it is that it is an intellectually challenging program. And so it's getting students to think beyond just your basic learning, and helping them to make connections in the real world, and how they bring it into their life.
Tell me about the process you went through to be a part of this program, and when did you actually get accepted?
Sure. So it is a rigorous process. So there is a candidacy phase. It's normally 3 years, but fortunately, Lakewood, before we were set up as a school, we kind of designed it to be an IB school. So we were accepted as a candidate school before we even opened with students, and then we went through a 2-year process. It's normally 3 years of filling out paperwork. It's just a small part of it, but it's really about the implementation of the program and the expectations of IB. And actually, a lot of this was led by Judy Golage, our IB coordinator, so she can get into a little bit more details about how hard this was, but the work that our staff had to do in order to get through this process.
Yeah, what was the process like, Judy?
Yes. Well, every teacher that was hired for our middle years program knew that it was going to be difficult, and it was. Our first year, we trained about half of our staff, which means they went away for a 3-day training with IB, which is very rigorous. You're trained from 7:30 in the morning till 4:30 in the afternoons, but it's very useful. We were lucky to have that. We also had an IB consultant that worked with me and with the staff and helped us go through this process. And then we had to apply to be authorized, which was so much work. It was amazing how much. I mean, I worked all summer long, as did the teachers for that. And then we had to wait while they looked over our application, accepted it, and then sent a verification team. Because it's one thing to put things in writing, it's quite another thing to prove that you are actually doing those things. So 3 people were sent from IB to come and visit our school, spent a couple days with us, interviewed just about everybody that they could, visited some classrooms and so on, and gave us feedback on it. And then we had to wait until we heard several weeks later that we'd been authorized.
Well, that's a lot of work.
It is, and the other part about the verification too is they want to see that there's commitment from the district, and so they even interviewed Superintendent Boone and our school board chairman. They had to come to the school and be interviewed to say, we are committed to this way, this process and this way of thinking. What we're most proud about is that when the verification team left, they told us that it generally takes about 60 days to get a response back from them. We had a response back in less than 15 days, saying that we had met all of their tenets and requirements, and received that nice certificate, the authorization saying you are fully authorized IB World School.
Are there any other schools in Hampton Roads with this designation?
Well, there's one other, Plaza Middle School in Virginia Beach has the program, but what's unique for us is that IB changed their middle years program requirements in 2014 to make it a full school program. So every student that's in the middle school has to participate in it. Plaza did not have that. Plaza started off as a specialty program, and as part of the IB process, you have to get renewed every 5 years and reauthorized. And so Plaza is was going through that, and they have to actually move to a full school model.
And that's kind of a plus for them, I would think, too.
Well, it is, and to include more students, and that's one of the parts that both Judy and I and our teachers like about IB, is that it is an all-inclusive program. Most of the time when you hear IB, you think of the IB diploma program at the high school level, which is kind of an academic type program that really, hones in on just an academic-based program.
So how is the curriculum different from the middle school curriculum?
Well, one of the things that all our teachers are required to do, which you will see in a little bit in that video, they have to write their curriculum. So we do have the standards that we're responsible for in Norfolk for the state of Virginia, but we have to really think through on a conceptual basis what that curriculum is going to look like. So we are really deeply involved in writing unit plans. And so that means we might be off of the pacing for the district, because part of that is also embedding within those connections between subjects. So there might be something that's occurring in 8th grade English that can overlap with world geography. So those teachers collaborate, and those students then experience that in both classes. And that process of writing that curriculum takes a long time. We don't have it for every single unit as to the extent that we'd like, but we're still working on it.
I'd like to take a quick look at an example of this curriculum.
Okay.
For IB, we're required to do an aesthetic unit, which includes dance. Ours is focused on personal as well as cultural expression. So the students are introduced to fitness and a way to have fun with that. So we include Just Dance, which is very fitness related. We also include choreographed dance routines that they learn. Standard PE class may dance a little bit, but they're not going to tie that into how time and movement and balance all work together in relationships to express yourselves. And when they're able to balance that out and work together, it's more aesthetically pleasing. Then for their ending project where they're graded on, they actually create their own dance routine with a group of students, and they're allowed to select their own genre and dance. They love it. The majority of them are out there dancing and having fun. Sometimes shy away, but usually once they get into it or we cut the lights out, then most of them are engaged and they have a lot of fun.
IB programs utilize something called Approaches to Learning, or ATL. What is that and how does it benefit students?
Well, I think approaches to learning are all of those things that you see in, like a diploma program student quite often has those learning to learn skills. They know how to keep a planner. They know how to manage their time. They are strong in all of their communication skills. They collaborate well, those types of things. They're the kinds of things you want to see in all students, but quite often don't. And so within our units, IB requires us to think of those ATLs that our students need and to teach them with intent within each of the units. So that's what we do. We kind of think about new sixth graders that come to us. Do they even know how to use a planner? So we're teaching them that. Are they that well organized? There's a whole list, there's a 4-page list of ATL skills. And so when you're looking at those, one of them, an interesting one, and that students kind of struggle a little bit with because we have a different assessment as well, is one of their ATLs is to fail well. And they are like, what do you mean? In other words, when you do fail, to look at it and think, what caused this? What can I do to bounce back, which is a second ATL skill in that area.
Right, so it sounds like you're kind of integrating this, but go a little deeper as how you're integrating this program into the entire school.
Sure. So it is a process, and it is a rubric-based grading system that all of our teachers have to use, and a unique grading system, as Judy mentioned. So students are assessed naturally in any subject in any school, formatively and summatively, but there is more of an emphasis on the summative evaluations in IB, with the formatives being practice. So the students are using the formatives to help get them ready for those summatives. And the summatives are intense, so your traditional multiple choice test is gone away in the IB program. It's where students are actually taking what they've learned, that knowledge, and they're now conveying it through writing and explaining their answer, and then they're making the connections to their real life, real world, and they have a set of rubrics that are guiding them and telling them this is how you make those connections. This is what we're expecting when we're evaluating it. I know both Judy and I have been involved in grading these summatives, and it is a mindset change. If you got to get out of that traditional teaching mode and mindset because it is intense.
It is revealing, though, because a multiple choice test, quite often you know when students get something right or wrong, but you really don't know why. And when you are seeing their answers written out in an extended paragraph, you can really see, okay, they have parts of it right, but parts of it not quite there. You can see where the misconceptions are. It takes longer for teachers to grade those things, but it is very worthwhile in that. And those are the things that count towards their grade for a quarter, not the things that are really about behaviors. So whether you're doing your homework, classwork, that type of thing, those we give feedback, they give each other feedback, they reflect on it, but it doesn't contribute to their final grade.
So what's next for this IB program?
So it is continued refinement, and continued training. So our teachers are learning the process. And they say that it takes about 3 to 5 years for a school to really get it down. And of course, when you lose a teacher, you've got to start back over and train that teacher. But we've got such a great foundation at our school with our teachers and with Judy being there and the administration having been trained in this, that it can be picked up, but it is a process. And so we're going to continue refining and growing in this process. And then one day we would love to look at the primary years programs. So of course, you know, Lakewood is a 3rd through 8th grade school. So we'd love to see our 3rd, 4th, and 5th graders be part of that. But we are training them as well as they move up through the school.
Well, congratulations on this designation and this new opportunity for our students.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. And we want to thank you for watching NPS Now. It airs weekly on WNPS Channel 47, or you can view us online at www.npsk12.com. If you have any great story ideas or information you'd like to share, email us at nps_news@npsk12.com. Again, we want to thank you for watching NPS Now.